An MMA fighter is not supposed to destroy the best kickboxers in the world. But what if he is the most jacked MMA fighter?
I'm gonna knock him out or dominate him very bad. I'm gonna humiliate him.
He gets that crazy look in his eyes. Lock up your horses! The Reem is in the house! The Herculean figure of Alistair Overeem! He really does not need an introduction in the fighting world!
He's so jacked that his own left hook sends himself flying.
I think Alistair throws this with mean intentions.
Overeem unloading on him! Earns his rod! Earns his rod! Earns his rod! Overeem's corner on the apron, now ready to celebrate!
He was so jacked. When he was Overeem, Jesus fucking Christ.
Goddamn comic book hero.
Yeah.
He's clearly over 9,000.
Hold on to that guy.
This MMA fighter is so jacked that when 5 bouncers at a nightclub tried to attack him, he defeated all of them. So strong that he won a Japanese sumo competition with ease. But it's not just jacked and strong. This fighter also has the highest striking accuracy in the history of mixed martial arts. That is terrifying given how powerful he is. And that's why he's one of the greatest fighters ever.
Alistair's one of the best ever, a guy who not only has had the longevity to be able to fight for, you know, the guy's got 60-something fights. That's just in MMA, doesn't include kickboxing. He's done nothing but fight the absolute best in the world in whatever organization he was in. So the guy's a legend. He'll go down in history as one of the pioneers and as one of the guys who fought everybody.
This monster destroyed many great opponents, with a total of 6 UFC champions, and just as many great kickboxers on his resume.
So this is the thing that is so scary about you when you fight. You mentioned a very good word, destroy, because that is your style. You are the demolition man. You just destroy opponents. You don't outpoint them. It's never a slow, boring fight. You literally destroy another human being in the ring.
He has more skills in the heavyweight division than anyone else when it comes striking.
If you somehow still don't know who he is, this is the fighter that Joe Rogan said was the best striker ever.
Alistair's one of my favorite fighters all around because Alistair Overeem is without a doubt the best striker that's ever entered into martial arts.
Alistair Overeem won the K1 World Grand Prix kickboxing tournament at a time when it was the biggest thing in combat sports.
Super Bowl of striking! The Wimbledon of warfare!
Good.
So explain to me why Grand Prix K1 champion is just so much better.
It's the biggest of the big of all, especially at the time when he did it. It doesn't exist anymore. Right. But at the time when he won it, it was Badr Hari, Gokhan Saki, the fucking best
in the
of
world.
the best.
An MMA fighter going in to dominate the best kickboxers in the world was not supposed to happen, but it did, and it was absolutely historic. On the way to the top, Overeem defeated 4 of the greatest kickboxers of all time.
Looks for the headache maker. Oh, spinning hook kick, he knocked him down! That was awesome! And look at Saki go!
Overeem's entry in the K1 was a pure accident. You see, he was a high-level MMA fighter with a kickboxing record of 2 wins and 2 losses. But Badr Hari, the bad boy of kickboxing, decided to call out Overeem after his MMA match with Krokop. It was a brutal fight for Krokop, as he was clearly losing the fight, but was ultimately defeated by devastating knees to the nuts. It's significant that Overeem was winning this fight, because after an incredible kickboxing career, Krokop was also widely considered the number 2 MMA fighter during the Japanese combat sports era. Overeem ragdolled Cro Cop in the clinch, landed knees at will, and struck him on the ground effectively. He also believed Cro Cop took the easy way out of the fight.
You'd hit his balls so hard that one of them went up into his stomach. For real, or do you think he was just looking for a way out?
You know, those things don't break.
Regardless of whether Cro Cop took the easy way out, it didn't impress Badr Hari. You see, Badr is widely regarded as the most talented heavyweight kickboxer of all time, a man who beat everyone there is to beat. After destroying many of the best kickboxers, he lost the chance to become the prestigious K1 Grand Prix champion by attacking Remy Bonjasky when he was still grounded.
What's going on? What's going on? Ivan Hippolyte having to be restrained ringside here. Badr Hari losing the plot right.
No one has ever done this in a championship fight, let alone the most important championship fight in kickboxing. Needless to say, with 92 knockouts and a 90% knockout ratio, he was fearless against Overeem, a fighter with only 2 wins and 2 losses.
I don't care who, I don't care when, I don't care what. Listen, all this hugging and shit is nothing. K1, stand-up fights, real knockouts, I guarantee you. Everybody who wanna fight against me, get knocked out. Us.
But underestimating Overeem was one of the biggest mistakes Badr ever made. You see, when Overeem had a losing record, he was still a skinny, lanky fighter. But after he started eating horse meat religiously, he became the Ubereem. This is the nearly unstoppable monster that will go on a huge winning streak in both MMA and kickboxing. So dominant that many considered him the #1 fighter in the world. The bad boy did not know the destructive power of horse meat. Overeem became a huge internet sensation for eating horse meat.
Spectacular condition. It's a physique that Michelangelo could have carved. It's probably the best physique going around in the fight game, full stop. This.
I get hungry when I see it. It was actually a long time ago, 10 years ago. Told me the best protein is horse meat. And I tried it and it was good.
Did you eat horse meat too?
You don't like that?
You know, I don't think I've ever
Horse
had
is very
horse
good
meat.
protein. Also, it's a little bit genetic. My mother is a strong woman, big. When you're little, like you, it's hard to get big.
After Overeem defeated Mark Hunt, a K1 Grand Prix champion in MMA, and then Cro Cop with nutshots, he made the claim that K1 champions are easy to fight. But a big claim must be supported by evidence. And so Overeem accepted Badr's challenge. When Badr tried to hit Overeem, it had little to no effect. However, when Overeem hit Badr, it had a lot of effect. Each punch that landed sent the skinnier fighter's head flying. After a very nice shifting uppercut, Overeem landed another beautiful switch knee and attempted a left hook Superman punch. This technique would be very important later. Moments after, they traded right cross into left hook combinations, with Overeem getting the much better of the exchange. To end the fight, Overeem faked a right cross to go into a shifting uppercut again. After it landed, he grabbed Badr for a left knee to the head. The knee landed flush, and as Badr's head came up, Overeem threw a Superman left hook once again to land a beautiful knockdown. When Badr got up, Overeem hunted the finish. He dodged a bunch of Badr's punches and landed a perfect counter hook to finish the fight. In the post-fight speech, Overeem knew it was a huge win for the MMA fighters.
For all MMA fighters and for everybody who think respect is important.
To defend the honour of K1, they gave Overeem the defending Grand Prix champion Remy Bonjasky. Not only is Remy the defending Grand Prix champion, but he had won it a total of 3 times already, making him one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. There's some historic beef behind this fight too. When Badr Hari got disqualified for kicking Remy Bonjasky on the ground in the Grand Prix finals fight, Overeem said Bonjasky was acting like a soccer player because he was completely fine. Overeem said Bonjasky deserves an Oscar because that acting won him the most important title in kickboxing. Now, you would think that the defending champion should dominate the fight, right? Wrong. Overeem started the fight with a jumping knee and started pressing the champion right away. When Overeem caught Bonjasky's kick, he swept him and booted the champion's nuts on the way down. When Bonjasky got up like a warrior, the Reem continued tremendous pressure and kneed Bonjasky in the nuts again. For some reason, Bonjasky never reacted, as he seems to have iron balls. Throughout the round, Overeem landed nice uppercuts and low kicks, often panicking his opponent as he charged in. And he dominated the clinch. He was the clear winner this round, but the judges gave it a draw. In the second round, Overeem dominated even more. He ragdolled Bonjasky on the ground easily, and landed several beautiful knees into Superman punches. When Bonjasky tried to go for a low kick, Overeem landed a big right hand and knocked his opponent to the floor. But the referee didn't count it as a knockdown. The commentators agreed that it was a strong round by Overeem, but the judges gave it a draw. In the third round, Overeem dominated once again. He off-balanced Bonjasky over and over again. Overeem showed excellent boxing skills in the close range throughout this round. However, he got complacent as he continued pressuring. Bonjasky was able to rally back with an excellent combination, knocking down Overeem. It started with a well-timed knee to the head inside the clinch, and when they reset, Overeem slipped low to evade Bonjasky's jab. However, he stayed low too long and without a guard. Remy shot a perfect downward cross to floor Overeem. The fight really should be a draw, which meant an extension round in K1. However, Bonjasky was given the win. And right after, he delivered an Oscar trophy to Overeem, which was slapped to the ground by Overeem's corner. There was absolutely nothing to be ashamed of in this fight, because Overeem did dominate the fight except for when he got knocked down once. After this fight, Overeem thought he should just continue fighting MMA, but the K1 committee insisted that he should participate in the 2009 World Grand Prix. To qualify for it, however, he needed to fight Peter Ertz, the heavyweight kickboxer who is a 3-time Grand Prix champion and a 3-time runner-up. These credentials put him as the greatest of all time for many fight fans around the world. Peter Ertz was so dominant that people called him Mr. K1. He was also Overeem's kickboxing hero growing up, but he trained so hard that his heroes became his rivals.
When I fought them, I was not a fan. I was just an opponent and I just wanted to destroy them.
As soon as the fight began, Overeem floored Ertz with a cross as he was getting low kicked. This was not considered a knockdown, and when Ertz got up, Overeem continued the onslaught by throwing a shifting overhand into the left knee, and then ragdolling Ertz. Moments later, he rocked Ertz with a left knee to Superman punch combination, but Ertz rallied back. Throughout the round, Overeem landed devastating punches and ragdolled Ertz to the ground. The rest of the fight was much of the same. Overeem fought an extremely technical fight, and dominated with power punches and knees as well as the clinch. It was another huge win for Overeem, and he showed that he has great cardio on top of being so strong. This was the first time that Ertz did not qualify for the K1 Grand Prix, but at this moment, Overeem proved that he could win the Grand Prix title. In the actual 2009 tournament, Overeem completely dominated Elwerton Teixeira, a great Kyokushin karateka. This was perhaps the most devastating knockout in his entire career, sending his opponent to the Shadow Realm with a knee to the body followed by a knee to the head. Advancing to the semi-finals, Overeem would face Badr Hari again, but this time, Badr beefed up and didn't underestimate Overeem. Badr was able to rock Overeem multiple times, and ended the fight with a 16-hit combination, followed by another 10-hit combo. It was an amazing victory for Badr, redeeming himself from a great humiliation. But rather than giving up, Overeem continued competing in K1. He not only dominated in MMA during this time, but set up what was about to be the greatest run in K1 Grand Prix history. In 2010, Overeem knocked out Javad Potorak, and then Ben Edwards to qualify for the Grand Prix.
Crazy! How do you get up? It's over! It's good night, Irene!
Entering the 2010 Grand Prix became very meaningful to Overeem, because to hold simultaneous belts in MMA and K1 means you're the strongest in the world.
If I win the K1 championships, in my opinion, I am the strongest. Because you are the strongest in K1 and you're the strongest in MMA. So you hold 2 championship titles, 2 belts, then you're the strongest.
For his first match of the night, he would meet Tyrone Spong, King of the Ring. Overeem and Spong used to be teammates but eventually went separate ways later. Spong would dominate from 75 kilograms all the way to 105 kilograms to meet Overeem. There was only a 5 kilogram of weight difference in this fight, but it looked like 25 kilograms instead. In the stare down, Overeem looked like he was ready to eat his opponent.
He could beat the sun in a staring contest.
Right from the beginning of the fight, Overeem went for a Superman punch followed by a knee to the head. He charged at Spong looking as scary as ever. For most of the round, Overeem was dominating the exchanges. However, Spong was able to land 5 left hooks in a row in a 14-hit combo that rocked Overeem. But Overeem was game as he kept a high guard.
4 up guards weather the storm. Overeem rock solid. That Virgin's defense, nothing penetrates.
Spong had good momentum and was able to affect Overeem to the body with punches, so Overeem started adjusting strategies. Overeem moved forward with a tight guard without punching and waited for Spong to punch first. Then he would time knees to Spong's head and body. In the second round, Overeem continued wading into the short range and forced Spong to trade with him. In most of these exchanges, Overeem was winning, showing that he's not only a jack fighter, but an extremely technical striker even with his boxing. Overeem rocked Spong with a left hook to right hook and then began a 6-hit combination.
He wants to step in. I've seen him twice. Step in.
Right hand, look from the ring.
Going into the third round, the fight was a draw with 1 round going to each fighter. To rock Spong, Overeem entered the clinch with a left knee to the thigh, which got Spong to dip his head lower, and when he did, Overeem sent a right knee to Spong's head. Overeem then cornered to hurt Spong to land 23 unanswered strikes in a row. The referee put a count on Spong, and Spong, being super savvy, spat out his mouthguard when they were about to engage to buy more time. This allowed Spong to survive the round, but Overeem was also not hunting for a finish because he knew there were 2 more fights against legends. In the next fight, Overeem faced off against Gokhan Saki, the Mike Tyson of kickboxing.
Kebabs versus horse meat.
These two were both teammates at Golden Glory, but there was no mercy shown in this fight. From the very start, Overeem put on the pressure right away and tries to land a big combination on the ropes. However, Saki fights back and then lands a beautiful spinning kick which sends Overeem to the floor. It was not ruled a knockdown, but Saki continued the momentum to land a spree of left hooks. He was sticking and moving and landing left hooks beautifully, fighting a perfect fight. It was a masterclass of varying left hooks to the body and the head, as well as how to layer it with jabs and lead uppercuts. But one left kick from Overeem discovered something very important, that Saki was hurt on his right side. As Overeem stalked Saki, Saki tried to land another spinning kick, which off-balanced Overeem. But when Overeem threw another left kick, it hit Saki right on the injury he accumulated from the previous fight. While Saki put on a tremendous effort just fighting off one arm, he ultimately could not continue.
You don't have to have your hand raised to be a champion. This man showed a lot of heart, showed a lot of technique. Props to him. Unbelievable.
The final is set. The Reem versus Mr. K1.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. Super prepared to the finals.
In the Grand Prix finals fight, the Reem would face off against Mr. K1 again.
Alistair has just looked unstoppable so far. You know, props to Overeem. I mean, we're talking about a guy, his second year in K1, and he's in the World GP finals.
Hey, nothing compares to this. I was the Pacquiao fight, the UFC, the Strikeforce events. This tops everything.
can you believe this? You are seeing arguably the hottest fighter on the planet, Alistair Overeem, taking on the biggest legend in K1 history.
From the very start of the first, the Reem rushed Ertz and gave him trouble. A beautiful charging left hook, right uppercut, and right hook already rocks the great K1 champion.
That's the most aggressive start we've seen from Alistair so far.
Ertz tries to fight back, but Overeem lands a perfect overhand over Ertz's jab, sending him into the corner. This is where Overeem is the strongest, and he spears Ertz's ribs with a walk-in left knee. Sensing that Ertz is hurt, Overeem charges him with a left hook to the body, and then releasing a relentless 10-hit combination, sending Ertz to the ground. Overeem starts celebrating right away, knowing his legendary opponent won't be able to get up.
Unbelievable. And here is Alistair Overeem, an MMA fighter, has become a K1 World Grand Prix champion.
He's a top combat athlete, hands down, of this year.
Unbelievable.
You cannot deny the awesomeness of Alistair Overeem. Victory that will be talked about for a long time to come. Becoming the first man ever in history.
This whole tournament, man, has me speechless. The super, and you know how it goes down, man. He just came out on top.
This will be the last real K1 World Grand Prix, as K1 would dissolve and Glory Kickboxing would take its place.
I hope you enjoyed tonight. I hope you love the fights. I gave 100%, and I love you Japanese fans.
It was destiny for Alistair Overeem. In the years 2010 and 2011, it's easy to make the case that he was the greatest fighter in combat sports. From Fedor Emelianenko to the UFC champions, no one wanted to fight him during his peak Overeem state. Despite having beat 6 UFC champions, it wasn't his destiny to ever capture a UFC title. If things had gone a little bit differently at the right time, many fight fans around the world would consider Overeem the greatest combat sports athlete. Regardless, he is a true legend, and Overeem will remain in the hearts of all fight fans even when he retires. Which fight with Overeem was your favourite? Let us know in the comments. It also looks like after his recent victory against Badr Hari, he will face Rico Verhoeven for the Glory Kickboxing World title. Who do you think wins that fight? This is Lawrence Kenshin Striking Breakdowns. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any new episodes about legendary fighters. The best way to support our channel is to watch another episode. Thank you for helping us keep it alive.